So you've begun your journey of creating video content and you're kind of curious, like, do I need to get a DSLR camera or a massive like $8,000 RED camera or even hire a videographer to film for me? And you're just beginning the journey. Maybe you can't afford to get that camera gear. You don't have the know-how, you don't really know how to use it, the technical knowledge, that sort of thing. Or maybe you just don't see like the investment in hiring a videographer makes sense for you because maybe you can't give them enough hours at the moment. Well, I'm gonna show you guys today how you can actually use your phone to capture enough video content for you to be able to utilize for your social media content and how to do it the right way. I'm gonna give you the right tips and tricks in order to make sure that you film the best type of content, the best looking content for your business, for your marketing purposes with your phone. Now, it's no secret nowadays, phones, especially iPhones, have amazing, amazing video camera quality. That doesn't mean that you have to actually put like every single setting to the maximum volume because you're going to end up with these massive files that you're going to try to edit with. They're going to take forever to export. They're going to take forever to edit. They're going to take forever to upload to YouTube or Facebook, Instagram, wherever you're trying to load them in. And the reality is that you have to understand is when you're loading these videos into especially social media platforms, the platforms actually condense the video file anyway, so you're going to lose a little bit of quality. So it's good enough to just have it on HD 1080p and film it that way. That's perfectly fine. Now, if you wanted to blow it up for any reason, then that's where we go into different conversations. But the thing I'm going to preach as we go through this topic is simplicity. Right now, you're at the beginning stages of filming video content for your marketing purposes, assuming that I'm talking to you as a business owner and you're leveraging the video content you're going to be using for your marketing purposes. You're starting kind of from ground zero, from step one, and you're taking that very first step, then step two, then step three. So you're not quite ready for those massive video hauls that you're going to be doing, maybe buying a $2,000 DSLR camera, hiring that videographer that I talked about at the moment. So we're going to take it in simple steps, show you how to use your phone in order to be able to utilize that. So there's a couple of different places I could start, but the first place I'm going to start is just the gear itself. So obviously, assuming you have a phone that can actually film. Now, I'm going to tell you, like, iPhones are definitely going to be the best, like, ease of use filming. That doesn't mean they have the most amount of megapixels or the actual best depth perception or the quality or whatever you want to call it from a technical standpoint. Like, you are a beginner, so we're going to assume that you don't know all those technical things and you're just going to leave everything on automatic, which is what I'm going to encourage you to do. Most of these cameras nowadays, even my DSLR camera that I'm using right now to film this video, is set on all automatic because the technology in it's going to adjust for low light. It's going to get rid of really bad exposure and contrast, that sort of thing. It's going to do all that on its own. And phone cameras nowadays are really meant to be able to do that. Now, there are options for professional usage or whatever, but we're going to pretend that you don't have the knowledge and know what to actually fix. And it really doesn't matter at the end of the day because we're not out here trying to film cinematography. We're out here trying to film marketing videos for our business. So that's important to understand. So first things first is obviously a microphone. That's going to be one of the first things. And really, I'm going to keep it simple. There's only going to be a couple pieces of gear that you're actually going to need. And it's coming down to like audio, visuals, and then the mobility of it. So audio-wise, truth be told, most microphones nowadays are a dime a dozen. They all have the same type of technology in them. Normally, it's the brand you're paying for. Typically, generally speaking, the hardware itself is where you pay the most for it. Like, is it going to last longer? Does it feel cheap? Stuff like that. So theoretically, yes, you could go on Amazon and buy a $15, $20 microphone that's a lapel mic that'll plug into your iPhone port, and then you can use it that way. It's going to work, but the quality of it, maybe you're going to be paying a little bit less for that, and it's not going to sound as great, or it's going to break easily, and it's going to feel cheap or whatever. So I would recommend spending anywhere from $50 to $100 on a lapel mic that you can have. Like, typically nowadays they have them where they're in cases and you can put them in a case and they'll charge up that way. You simply like pin it on yourself and then you plug it into your phone and then just test it ahead of time is what I'm going to recommend. And I'll say that again later on down the road. But when you're actually recording, like, it'll automatically feed into your phone. You don't have to adjust any settings or anything like that. It's wonderful. Normally it's going to be a plug and play. So just a simple lapel microphone. Just go on Amazon or bestbuy.com and search for wireless iPhone microphone, and there's going to be so many of them to pick from. Just read the reviews. Maybe I'll even link some below that you can check out and maybe the recommendations I have. So microphone is important. Like, you want to make sure that you're getting good quality audio because nowadays I've been observing this a lot lately on especially phone recorded content. If the the audio itself is not good. It's not at least like an 8 out of 10 quality. Typically, people scroll right past it and they don't even pay attention to it. Audio is very important. Even if it's a big obnoxious, you see on, vlogs and stuff like that, people will be wearing these big obnoxious microphones, or they'll put it on their hat and stuff like that. It works because the audio is important, and they understand that. And I'm trying to get you to understand that as well. Put a paramount piece on your audio, because that is going to be what impacts the video the most outside of the actual visual itself. Secondly, is you're going to want a handheld tripod. Now, I have a couple of these that are, again, a dime a dozen. As long as it holds your phone. The popular one is the Joby Gorilla Pod. It has 3 legs on it. It's a short little thing. You can hold it handheld. You can obviously get like an actual full-blown tripod that has a phone mount to it. But again, go to Amazon, search for it, and typically, generally speaking, just read the reviews and you're gonna find them. They're a dime a dozen. So that'll be able to hold up your phone if you're recording. You're gonna be able to hold it and that sort of thing, or set it up to where you could just stand in front of it and record that way, and then leave it at that. Those are 1, 2, and then the third thing is going to be any kind of lighting. So let's say you're filming in an office, or you're in your room or your kitchen or whatever, and you need a little bit more lighting. All you really need to do is, again, go to Amazon. Amazon's going to be your best friend with this beginner package thing, but go to Amazon and you can find some iPhone ring lights where they'll actually like kind of connect to your phone. There are cases and stuff like that can connect to your iPhone or whatever, but I would just keep it simple. They have like these little ring lights that you can actually attach to your mount or your phone, and you plug it in with a USB cable, and then it's good to go. Lighting, and then adjust it, make sure it looks good. You're good to go. So those are actually the pieces of equipment you need, and there's really not much more than that. You don't need those kind of like lenses that you can attach to the phone and that sort of thing. That's all stuff that's just going to complicate the process. Just keep it simple. Okay, so now you have the gear. Let's talk about best practices. A couple things that I really notate when I'm working with my clients to film their content, and a lot of my clients actually film their own content and they use their phone. A couple of tips and tricks I'm going to give you that you really want to follow as guidelines in order to make sure that you maintain the best quality. And again, I lay these out very simply. I want it to be non-complex for people. So the first thing I'm going to say is the framing. Now, framing is very important. What that basically means is how you see me right now, where my head is not outside of the frame just like this, or I'm too far back and then there's this massive amount of space between my head and the top of the frame. That's what framing is. So basically, it's how I'm positioned inside of your phone screen. That's how framing works. And what I'll see a lot of times is people leave way too much awkwardness around themselves. So a great example is a lot of my clients are real estate investors. So they'll go out and film video at houses. So they'll walk through properties and show what they've done to it as they're fixing, flipping it or whatever, showing the progress, and they'll have somebody follow them around. It's important, and I try to train my clients on this, it's important for that person that's following my client around to make sure that they are keeping the client in the frame. Now, if they're pointing at something and saying like, hey, check out the ceiling that we did here, or we patched that up, obviously they're going to angle up to see what they're pointing at, but then come back to them. But it's important to make sure that they're framed up properly. Normally, it's like think about it from a standpoint of how would I want to visualize it on the phone itself, and then you can keep it simple that way. But honestly, it's not super complex. Just make sure you keep an eye on that. And especially if you're stationary, don't be having a crazy amount of space between your head, the top of your head, and the top of the frame. And then obviously don't be, like filming like this. You don't want to be like completely cut off. You want to have a good amount of space, a decent amount of space between the top of your head and the frame. And honestly, guys, just keep it simple. That sounds so elementary, but you would be shocked at how many people film video and they're out of frame, or it looks really awkward and weird. The next thing I will recommend is just roll. Just roll the camera. A video editor or yourself, if you're going to edit the videos yourself, if you screw up, if you mess up, like for example, right before I hopped into this point here that I'm talking about, I took a pause, I took a break, and my editor is actually going to clip that out so you would never even notice that it was missing. So I took like a 10-second pause to think about what I'm going to be saying next, and then I went. With your phone, as you're recording, it's unrealistic for you to be able to like go back and forth to record like 6 different clips and then try to stitch them together. Just let it roll. Just hit record once and then let it roll. After that, if you mess up, if you screw up, if you say something you're not supposed to say, then just edit it. That's what post-production editing is for. Just edit it out and then you're good to go. A couple of quick tips that I'll give you. So number one, if you didn't know, and this is really only going to be relevant to iPhone and Mac users. So if you have a MacBook Pro, MacBook Air, Mac Mini, whatever, and an iPhone, which is a lot of people, If you didn't know this, as long as you have one of the more recent upgrades on the software itself for both your phone and your MacBook, you can actually use what's called continuity camera. So that means that you can actually use your iPhone as the webcam for your computer. And the beautiful thing about that is if you were going to record content through, say, Riverside or Zoom, you can actually use your phone camera and feed it directly into that if you have your laptop. So I'm not going to do a little tutorial on that. Just go look it up. Just look up continuity camera for iPhone, and then it'll show you how to do that. It's a very simple step. It's literally just switching on one button from your phone. But I have a lot of my clients do that. Maybe they're filming podcast content, and their phone, it makes sense, like just record it from your phone, and then they'll have a tripod set up over here, and it's completely wireless. You don't even have to plug in your phone, and it gets really, really good video. They have a microphone like this set up, so it's a great setup, and it works really well. So go check that out, and that's a little bit of a hot tip. Okay, the last thing I'll kind of say about this, just a little hot tip, just kind of a side tangent, is test everything. Everything that you have that you're working with, from the gear to the way that you're framing yourself or the audio that you're trying to do, test it out. The last thing that you want to do is to record a 15-minute video, and then you go to watch it, and it's an hour and 25 minutes because you accidentally had it on slow-mo version. You don't understand how easy it is for you to go click a button on your phone and then accidentally hit the wrong thing and it swipes, but then you didn't pay attention and now it's on a different type of recording. You don't want that happening. Guys, I've actually had clients send us videos that were like 70 gigabytes in size because it was an hour plus video. And they're like, no, I didn't record, like I only recorded like a 15-minute video. And then we look at it and it's all in slow motion because I accidentally filmed it that way. And that's just not salvageable. You can't do anything about that. Obviously in their settings, they can edit that out, but this still, the process of that really, really sucks. So just double check everything. Run a test. Take 5 minutes to run a test. If you're going to spend time on batching your content, which I've done a video on that before, so go check that out if you haven't already. But if you're going to spend time recording video content, then just run a quick test. I even do that on my setup here with my DSLR camera and my microphone beforehand, just to make sure everything's coming through clear, it looks good, and it sounds good. So run a test, use your microphone. If you're going to get that lapel mic, use the microphone, run a test on it, play it back to make sure it sounds good, and then, troubleshoot it from there. So other than that, there's really not much else to it. The thing I'm going to tell you is to just keep it simple. This is all stuff that you all know, like it's just planning it out correctly, which all the videos on my channel really help with, strategy and building the actual topics and the scripting and stuff like that. So go watch all those videos. And then if you don't know how to use a DSLR camera, you can't afford to bring in a videographer or whatever, then just use your phone. Don't let that stop you from recording video content, because you can nowadays record incredible and amazing looking video content from your phone, whether that's horizontal for social media or vertical for YouTube. Get out there, record, and that's the most important thing right now. Just follow these steps and you'll be good to go. So that's it for today's video. Thank you so much for joining and watching today. If this did bring you value, let me know down in the comments below. You can also find me on Instagram or Facebook. Just look up Josh Color. I am verified on both of them, so I should be pretty easy to find. Send me a direct message to let me know that you saw my video and you had more questions, and I'd be happy to hop on a call with just about anybody. Other than that, thank you guys so much for watching, and we'll see you on the next one. Take it easy.